All right, so yesterday I ended the day by making the vertical panel that goes up the back side of the C-notch, and I bead rolled these elements to match the ones that we made in the floor pan, but when I bent it, I didn't bend it in the perfect right spot there, as you can see. Gonna have to redo this one, unfortunately, and also I used the same 18 gauge material that I used for the second trunk pan, and my sheet metal bender here is only rated for 22 gauge, and it really struggled to make that bend, and so I had to finish that bend off by hand. So what we're gonna do is remake this panel, make it out of the 20 gauge sheet metal that I have that is a lot easier to bend in the sheet metal break, and then we'll bend it in the right place this time. Be able to learn a bit based off this panel. Got to get it fitting better than that. That's the last step here before we start doing the final fitting and then cleaning everything up to weld. All right, so I'm about to start on the second attempt at the panel that's going to be on the back of the C-notch. The first one, as I showed you, I bent in the wrong place, and so there's too much of a gap. So I have another sheet here. It's all marked out where I'm going to bead roll it. Then I'll mark where I'm going to bend it after trimming it. But feeling a little lazy today, so I was hoping I could take a shortcut. And so let me see if this is going to work. There we go. All right, I have the second panel fitted now to the back side of the notch. All the fitment looks real nice in there. Worked out really good. And so now I need to transfer some punches to the top of the flange there, because there is going to be bolts running through them. There'll be a piece of rubber underneath, and then the removable top piece will bolt through all of that. And so I have a dolly here, and I have a transfer punch that fits through the nutserts, and then I have a little hammer here. So we're just gonna go through from the underside and transfer punch all of the locations of the nutserts, and then we'll punch holes in the panel that are oversized to give a little bit of wiggle room, since this panel is going to get capped, like I said, by a top piece. So let's get going on that. So I'm just using the dolly as a little bit of weight and a firm surface to strike the punch against. And we're just going to use this and go straight up the middle of the nutsert here. And we'll give her a tap. And that's all we need. We'll move on to the next one. Keep the process rolling. All right, now there are two on each side that I can't get to here from below because the bag mount bracket is in the way. You can see that last one right there I could get to, but then there's two more back there that I can't get to. So there's two different ways I can do it. I can measure between the last one we could get to and the next one and keep the same spacing, since these are all spaced the same. We can keep the same spacing from the bend outward and then just measure it. And especially since this doesn't have to be super accurate, because we're oversizing the holes for a little bit of wiggle room. That would be just fine way to do it. The other way to do it is to take a fastener that fits in there, and these are 1/4 20, take a bolt and chuck it up in a drill, bring it over to the disc sander and put a point on it. Then you screw it in from the bottom side until the point sticks up enough that then you can tap the piece of sheet metal down onto the bolt and find your center that way. All right, so here I have this panel final fitted for now. I got the holes punched in it, as you saw, and all the fitment is looking really good on it. And so the next step is to cleco it, but with the notch sitting behind it, there's not enough room to cleco it, so I'll wind up doing that in the next stage, which is going to be to drop the frame off of the body, roll the frame forward so I have access to the whole trunk. Then I'll get the trunk pan up in here and get that final fit, because I have it fit to the template, but I'm sure there's a few little adjustments I'll need to make, some tweaks here and there. Might need to adjust this flange so that everything lays nice and flat. So I'll get that done. Then I'll get the floor pan clecoed in place, get the vertical part for the notch clecoed in place, and then I'm going to make a little piece of angled sheet metal to capture the floor pan intersection to this so that it strengthens it, and then we'll get all that clecoed in place as well. And then after that, let's take everything back out, get everything cleaned up, get it all put back together after doing some weldable primer, and then it'll be time to take the clecos out one by one and start spot welding this whole thing back together. So I'm gonna get working on cleaning everything up around here and get the chassis dropped off the body.
The fact of the matter is I'm the magic man. I got the flash, I got the cash, and I'm gonna snatch your...